this on regular tables. It just doesn't work. Like, okay, this is a prime example, all right? I have ace-8 offsuit. I basically want him to fold. He's a nit. He's going to have a lot of pocket pairs. I'm going to bet reasonably big. I'm going to bet almost 2/3. And that's it. And I'm going to be done with the hand, right? So yeah, you brought up a really interesting point, Daniel. And I know this is very counterintuitive, but is one way how you can actually crush NL5. And people can't really do that much about it. So bluffs, I'm going to write that down. Bluffs on flop that can't barrel often go larger. Go larger size. How to find a regular table in NL5? You go to the lobby and you click on regular tables, all right? This is Zoom. We're playing a Zoom. Katakuga. If you don't know, this is how you do it. You click on cash, and then you find the NL5 one. If you want Zoom, you go to Zoom one, all right? It's really that simple. Right, I'm curious you guys didn't notice the overbet. So I actually overbet the river at NL5. That's right. And I'm going to show you what I did here. Right, so we have a king three of spades flush draw. How do you know which one is regular? Well, it doesn't have the zoom on it, Kataguga. You decide which tables you play. Right, if you play on sites where you can't get regular tables, I guess that could be trouble. Right, guys, so I called the big blind. Against 2.5x, I'm still going to be calling. I'm playing really tight. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and call. And now on the turn, right? On the turn, in this situation, I have so much equity that I really want to bet this. I really want to bet this, right? The problem here is, this is NL5. And when someone calls you on a board like this one, he probably has a made hand, right? I mean, if he had a bluff, he would probably bet himself. The only air type hands that he calls on the turn are probably ace king, maybe ace jack, right? Ace king and ace jack are probably the only two air hands that we're betting. So those are the hands that we're guaranteed to fold out. But the second thing is, I don't believe... Can we overbet or is that too aggressive? You saw exactly what I've done, Baldwin. And this is exactly the point I was making with the notepad here. People don't protect their ranges. People simply don't protect their ranges. They are not checking back enough queen X on the flop. And I definitely think we can go for this. And the thing is, I also represent reasonable amount of strong hands. I have 3-6 suited that I call. I have ace-3 as well. I have all the sets that are on the board. So I have a good amount of made hands, actually, that I can have in this situation. So I think an overbet is a good idea because, first of all, we have a lot of strong hands. We can pick a lot of bluffs. And we are betting into a made hand range. His range is basically made up of mostly weak made hands that are going to struggle to deal with this bet. Right, so we overbet the river actually, 2x overbet at NL5. It can be crazy. I went over the hands, and about 70% of the time, when I overbet the river, it works roughly 70% of the time when I do this. No, it was like, I think like 10 worked, and 12 worked, 4 didn't work, something like that. So I definitely think you can do it, and it's much actually easier. This is a much safer bluff at NL5 than it is at NL10, because at NL10 people are spazzy, they are tricky, and they check back some of the queens, and they're gonna call you with weaker hands as well. Kings is a tough spot. I actually messed up here. I made a mistake with the kings. I was explaining that stuff to you guys. This is kind of annoying. I was supposed to bet the flop bigger. When someone is short like this, we want to bet the flop bigger. So we can jam the turn. I think I'm still gonna do it. I mean, if he's got a flush, we are not folding on the river anyway. And I think he can have hands like jacks here. He can have hands like queen X. ace queen and stuff like that. So we're gonna jam, and if he's got the flush, so be it. There's not much we can do about it. But my mistake was a small bet size on the flop. And yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't happen as much. This is why I like these games. And by the way, tens, this is a very, very important thing as well for Zoom. And oh, we got slow rolled by ace deuce. Ah, that's unlucky. But if he's got ace deuce, he's gonna have hands like ace 8, ace 10, and stuff like that. So I'm okay with that. I would lose my stack anyway, but I would like to size it a little bit bigger on the flop, and then go ahead and jam. Daniel 6136. I find myself to bluff these spots. I'm betting like pot bet max. So it's a big mistake, I guess, because they always call. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, this is, I think, at NL5, if you go 2/3 of the pot with the king free, you are just burning money, right? You are just burning money. And this is why, remember, he didn't c-bet the flop. He did not c-bet the flop, but he's calling the turn. His range is basically what you say. His range is 8. His range is a random 10 that somehow got there, like 10x of spades. His range is ace king. And if you give people a reason to call, they're just gonna call you, right? When his range is basically just made hands. So I don't feel comfortable betting 2/3. I don't think people are capable of folding that much with hands like 8x, 5x, even 6s here. That's why I think if you bluff, even though it's NL5, if you actually bluff here, you gotta take your goddamn balls, put them on the line, and go for the overbet here, all right? You have to simply go for that. And the reason is exactly that, Daniel. They're gonna goddamn call you with random pairs. And I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't say this as a general rule, Maldwin. I would not. I would only say this in these situations when their range is weak. He can't really have that many strong hands. If he's got 10s, so be it, we lose. But you simply have to go for that, right? Another big hand, guys, another big hand that it seems fairly insignificant, but it's a big thing. It's a big thing at NL5, is people are passive. People are too passive, straightforward, with middling hands. All right, so what we did here, we actually called, pre-flop with 10s, right? So he opens up and we call the 10s, and we are on the flop, freeway, right? He checks, both of us check into us, and this is such a safe bet. This is such a safe bet. We go ahead and bet small, and in these situations, it's just so simple because people just call you with these weak hands. They don't turn them into a bluff, and you protect your hand, so you take it down really, really cheaply. You protect against those overcards that is going to be hard to get to showdown if they actually hit. And people are just going to check call you with weaker hands. They have a 7, they check call. They have 8s, they check call. They basically allow you to value bet really, really thinly and to whatever size you want. So, oh, there you go, guys. You already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for roughly, we're actually out of position, so now closer to the 1/3 pot size bet, but exactly the same principle as before. We're going to go ahead and bet small. We basically want him to do something like this, right? We want him to do something like this, play a little bit more against us with these hands. It's going to be extremely hard for me to let go. He opened under the gun. He can have 9s and 7s, obviously. So I'm probably losing my stack anyway. If I bet, and then jam, I'm losing my stack against 9s anyway. So what I want to do is just do this and make his range a little bit looser. Now, this is going to be interesting. Let's think here. Can we actually get away from this, though? Can we actually get away from this one? I don't think so. I don't think we can get away from it. Ah, now this is a problem. Now this is a problem. I'm trying to think what hands he would actually bluff in this situation. One thing that comes to mind is ace queen, right? Ace queen can play when we induce him like this. Do we know anything about the player? He's hidden from the search feature. I might actually make a massive fold here on the river. Let's see. I don't see people bluff this. I don't feel like people are bluffing like this, even against the small size. I just don't see him having that many bluffs. I really don't when he actually uses that sizing. I usually see them with a big jam on the turn. You know what? Yeah, let's make the massive goddamn fold. We're gonna let it go, guys. I'm folding ace king. We're gonna simply go ahead and fold this. Why not just ship the flop at Broadway hurts on turn or river? Well, does it really? I mean, yeah, on the river it does hurt, sure. When he plays it this way, let's take a look at the hand again. But the only Broadway that we mind is a queen or a jack, right? Not even, I don't think a 10, I don't think 10 we mind that much. I think we induce sometimes with ace queen, right? We can definitely induce with ace queen like this. And you know what? It looks like he's suckering us in. This is why it's suspicious. When people do these suspicious bets, I think most of the time when people spies, they would simply jam it. They would simply jam it on the turn, right? But when people do this suspicious stuff, it's just not a bluff very often. Like, I've been making these calls every single goddamn time they had it at NL5, right? Especially when he opens up under the gun. He just can't have that much crap here in this situation. They usually give up on the river. So if he's got 10s, he gives up. If he spazes with queens, he got there. Ace queen got there as well. So yeah, it's an insane fold to make. I would only make it at NL5, but I think we can absolutely make a fold like this one. And that's the other thing. Make huge folds on the river. And I basically trusted my intuition. Obviously, I'm going to induce the guy some of the time here. But I just have to trust my intuition. I played the limit for 40,000 hands. I was making these mistakes. I've seen a lot of induces, guys. When you use the small size on the flop, you are going to induce them quite a lot. But I just trusted my gut. And this is what you can do. This is what you can do when you play so many hands at a limit. Again, my regular size was down. I played 40,000. I actually played about 55,000 hands at NL5 Zoom. And even though, yeah, I can induce from absolute garbage, 10-8 got there suited, but he shouldn't really have 10-8. This can be some garbage some of the time. But basically, the way he sized it, the way he timed it, I just feel like we're beat here, as Daniel says, more than 70%. I feel like it. And you know what? I'm not sure. Maybe we should have called, especially after betting small on the flop. But I'm going to go with my gut. And sometimes you have to do that. When it's a close decision, close your eyes. Believe in your subconscious, what it's telling you, especially if you've been playing on the limit for a very long time and you know how people play. If you just moved up, you don't know how the hell anyone plays. You just can't do that. You simply have to trust the combinations and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Seasalt says, I say he has ace king. Possibly, yeah. But again, I'm telling you guys, I've been playing 40,000 hands. I beat the limit for a lot, and it just feels like I've been beat a lot of the time. I can't remember instances where, when they use this sizing, this looks like he's suckering me in. And Cecil McFish, yeah, ace king makes sense. Actually, ace king makes a lot of sense. Problem is, we are calling to a chop. Basically, our equity is pretty much halved when we're calling against ace king. But yeah, I can see ace king making sense here. So maybe it was a case for calling. Sometimes you have to trust your intuition, though. That's basically what the way it goes. Tetozinho, do you play live or online only? I play online only. I played live like, I don't know, 7 times in my life. It's just incredibly slow. I end up drinking, having fun with people too much, and it's hard for me to think about ranges when you're having a bunch of fun with everyone, right? Tens, right. So this situation, I squeeze 100% of the time at higher stakes. At NL10, however, at NL5, I'm going to be just calling. First of all, I don't need the high variance. I just don't require the high variance. And it really pays to see flops. And it's going to be really easy to play post-flop for us. People are too passive. They let us get to showdown. They basically play face up. So that's what we're going to do. And tens, if you look at any solver, basically, ranges, is going to be a squeeze here, pre-flop. But we just don't need that. It increases variance, and you don't have to do it at NL5. People play pretty face up. It's pretty obvious what they have post-flop. you can do stuff like this. You can do these absolutely incredible thin value bets. They're just gonna call you with random ace here some of the time, and they're not gonna raise against you ever. That's why in these close spots pre-flop, basically anytime it's close pre-flop, I'm gonna go for the passive option, or I'm gonna go ahead and fold. The only difference is the button. On the button, and most of the time I'm just gonna go ahead and free bet and fold, and the reason is the rake. The rake is really high. I don't really need to see post-flop, so when I have ace-10 suited, I'm just gonna be free betting every single time when I'm on the button here. Again, I'm reloading the table. I want to play with 100 big blinds. This is how the strategy works. I don't really want to introduce extra variables into my play. And there we go, ace-10 suited. Let's bet half pot because there's so many nice turn cards for us. We actually win reasonable amount of the money. And do we know anything about him? And again, at higher stakes, I'm going to be flatting here every single time, especially with the 2 overs, especially with the backdoors. I just don't do it when I play NL5 Zoom. This is a close spot. I'm pretty sure it's slightly above 0 EV when we call here. I just don't think we have to take these spots at NL5 Zoom. Because that's the thing. I'm going to fold. I'm going to get to a higher EV situation. Like, I get kings right away, right? And I don't need to take high variance plays. I don't have to take high variance lines against the population because they are going to play really straightforward. I can abuse the situations when they are really weak in, and I can play more hands per hour and make it simpler for me while still keeping the win rate reasonably high. Out of position against middle position is a little bit different. I'm gonna go ahead and bet half pot, and the reason is if he's got 8-9, he's not folding. If he's got pocket pairs, he's not folding. So what I'm gonna do, I'm basically gonna go ahead and bet the flop, bet the turn, jam the river. I want to tank for a little bit. I would think about it with my flush draws if I want to bet. Surely with my bluffs, I would think about it as well. So we're gonna go ahead and bet the turn, and I would actually fold against the shove here. I just don't see people shoving on their turn with bluffs. So I'm going to bet the turn, I'm going to fold against the shove, especially against the middle position, and I'm going to go ahead and get it in on the river. It was pretty straightforward. Malvin 2, tens. So too many want to see a flop at my limit to see there from the small blind. Well, that's the thing. You don't really mind that much. That's the thing, Malvin. You have to realize the EV when you squeeze tens comes from taking it down pre-flop. Yeah, sure. But the thing is, you are freeway post-flop, right? A lot of the time, just one of the guys is going to call, right? Most of the time, one guy calls. Some of the time, both of them call. But that's the thing. It's a freeway pot. It's going to be reasonably well protected. It's going to get checked down a reasonable amount of the time post-flop. You're going to hit low boards. Some of the time, what is like 36% of the time, you hit low boards as well. That's why you basically go ahead and squeeze that. But at NL5, I just don't think it's necessary. Same for 7-6. I've been always folding 7-6 in middle position. I just don't think we have to bother with this because we fold, we get to the next hand, we get to play more hands, and these close situation opens, we just don't have to bother with them. We just don't have to bother with these 0 EV opens, or even slightly profitable opens like King 9 suited, 7-8 suited. Because the rake is really high and we can simply fold and get to another hand where we're going to win big without variance, pretty much. Same with King 10 off. Again, some solvers are opening this. We're going to go ahead and fold. Just let go of King 10 offsuit. Even though it's probably profitable, it's probably roughly around break even, we're simply going to get rid of these hands. We just don't have to play this. And this is how I've been playing over 40,000 hands. And the thing that this does, as long as you can play really well when you actually make hands. So the reasons for doing this, for folding hands like King 9 suited under the gun, 6-7 suited in the middle position, is twofold. I still believe 10-8 suited, same thing. Again, profitable call. This is a profitable call in most situations, right? But I don't have to do it at NL5. I just don't have to do it. Even though it's plus EV, marginally, it's high variance one. People, I don't know anything about him. A lot of my equity comes from bluffing this person post-flop, and I have no idea what he does. He might be completely spewy. He might c-bet a lot. So I'm just going to let go. And at regular tables at high stakes, even at Zoom at high stakes, you just can't get away with this. You can't be folding all these strong hands against free bets. At NL5, it is absolutely possible. You can absolutely still crush the limit because people are not free betting from the blinds enough. You can get to another hand and play really, really, really well post flop, and you basically lower your variance. I know it seems absolutely crazy. Like if anyone from higher stakes is watching this, 10-8 suited against the free bet on the button. There must be a call surely. But again, guys, we are playing NL5. We are playing Zoom at NL5. I'm showing you a strategy how you can make 10 big blinds per 100. Maybe it's variance, but definitely 6 big blinds per 100 plus while four tabling long hours every single day. And this is how you do it. You basically cut your high variance situations. Right, this is what I've been doing, and this is what I've been doing in NL5. And it's very exploitive, right? It's basically when I don't barrel that many turns, when I don't have that great of an equity, I'm going to go ahead and bet bigger on the flop. Same thing happens here. I do the same with the Queen 8. It's a dry board. I'm not barreling that many turns. I'm going to go ahead and bet bigger. And if I hit, yeah, great, awesome. Because people do this. People simply don't raise enough. They let you get away with it. And if they have nothing, they just fold too much against these bigger sizes. So it's absolutely exploitive. If you ever see me play against you and it's a dry board like this and I'm c-betting 2/3, raise me. I'm telling you, I'm going to fold 90% of the time. 90% of the time, I'm folding in this situation if I'm playing NL5 Zoom. And I just think it's absolutely profitable. I was trying it out, and I've been doing it over the 40,000 hands. And the thing is, I don't want to use this sizing if I actually have a hand. I don't want to use this sizing with a flush draw. If I have a flush draw in this situation, why the hell would I bet big like this, okay? I don't want to bet big. I want to bet smaller. I want to bet roughly half pot. So he calls me with more hands. If I bet half pot, he will call me with ace highs and stuff like that. And with a flush draw, I'm barreling every single turn, right? With a flush draw, I'm going to bet every single goddamn turn, and he's going to fold more hands. This is the thing. I'm not really barreling that many turns with a hand like 10 Jack, though. All I want him to do is just fold against me on the flop. I don't want him to float with a goddamn ace high because I'm c-betting and giving up, right? So basically, I go ahead and c-bet, try to take it down, and try to hit my hand, and we actually hit here, okay? We hit the 10 Jack. We got lucky. But I think that people fold way too much with a hand like 7-8. They just let go. But they call a lot more against quarter pot, third pot, half pot even. And it's been working out. It's absolutely incredibly stupid when you look. If you knew my strategy, if you knew what I was doing, you can absolutely destroy me. Because every time I'm betting 2/3 pot or bigger, I'm bluffing. I looked at my hand to note. I was actually bluffing 90 or 85% of the time. I have a bluff when I use this bet size on the flop when I'm c-betting, all right? But it just works at NL5. People simply overfold to these big sizes. So when I have a hand that I'm one and done with, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go ahead and goddamn free bet that. Sea Salt McFish, are you going to do coaching like this on Zoom NL10 too? Would be very interesting. Yes, I actually played NL10 Zoom. You know what? I can show you my stats. Fold this. Results. Right. So this is my NL10 Zoom. I'm absolutely killed today. How many hands do I have here? I have there. I have roughly 3,000 hands only. I'll see. My side poker, my side should be up within days. I'm not sure how many days I still have at MicroStakes. But yeah, my EVBB per 100 is 16 currently at Zoom. And I'm just getting crushed at NL10, guys. But yeah, my EVBB is roughly 16. I'm going to try to put in extra volume at NL10. But the strategy is different from NL5 for sure. My strategy at NL10 will be a lot different from what you see me playing right here. It's a lot closer to my normal strategy actually at NL10. And obviously, I'm going to check fold here. One thing that you want to do, one thing that you always want to do, when a board comes that is really good for you, right? I have 9s, 8s, 7s, 10 Jack, 9-8, 7-8. You want to think for a long time. When you have no air, when you basically, when you hit a lot of hands, You want to tank for a long time, pretend like you hit something, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pretend like hit stuff. I'm just gonna put in a big stab here on the turn. Hope he folds his crap. And this is what you want to do. So this is like a trick, and this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is like playing with someone who just doesn't know your usual tricks, right? And people just don't know these tricks, I guess. They're not used to this. And they give you a lot of credit. So what I've done here, guys, and this works so well at NL5, it actually works well at NL10, 25, and 50 as well. If you call and you're just giving up, right? I mean, this is a terrible board for me. I can't really check call, but I could have a lot of hands. I could potentially have a lot of hands. What you want to do is think for a long time, right? You want to think for a long time before checking, because this is what you would do. If you have nines, think about this. If you have 10 jack here, surely you would consider leading, because so many cards kill your action. If you have 10 jack, surely you consider leading. If you have 9-10 of hearts, surely you would consider leading as well. So what am I going to do? If I actually have air, I'm going to think as well. I'm going to think with my air and try to spook him. And then when he checks like this, he instantly checks on the flop. He just tells me he's not really strong. I'm just going to go for the suicide bluff. I mean, I have a gut shot. I have 2 overs. I have some equity against his range, right? But it's been working out so well that NL5. So well, people give you a lot of credit. They just don't expect you to do this. So remember, guys, whenever the board hits you and you have nothing, think for a long time, because it's going to be much easier for you to take it down and bluff on a future street. So there you go. Easy bluff, take it down. And I think the timing actually had a lot to do with that. The queen 10. It actually hits them a lot. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delay c-bet here. I'm going to check, and if the turn is a 9, queen 10, ace king, then I would actually bet. But the thing is, when small blind and big blind calls you, even though we have 2 overs, we can barrel a decent amount of cards. It just hits them too much. Like all those pocket pairs, all those suited connectors, that none of those are folding. I'm just going to go ahead and give up here and check it down, basically. Sloop race. Oh, there you go. Good question. Slurp Race is asking, with all the lessons, articles, and whatnot, I have not found an answer to how to create your ranges. One answer, Equilab, all right? You want to download the program. I can't open it now because we're playing on PokerStars, but Poker Strategy Equilab, it's free. Download it, and you can actually visualize and input in ranges. I was actually surprised that many people don't know about this, all right? Definitely your starting point. You put in Equilab, and then you start saving your ranges. You put in a hand history. You try to put in what possible ranges your opponents can have, and that's how you start visualizing them as well, right? This is basically 100% of players. They use Equilab, they use Solvers, they use Snowy, they use Flopzilla. Any of these programs they use to visualize ranges, to work on them, and this is exactly what you should be doing as well. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, it's free. Yeah, so that's what you do. And oh my God, what the this is annoying with the ace king. I see by the flop, and he donks the turn instantly. Man. 15-7-2. Problem I have with this one, it can be king queen. He can be doing this with king queen. He can do it with like tens with the 1 diamond, I suppose. If I have king 10, I'm folding, but yeah, I'm not in love with this one at all. Now, can we actually turn into a bluff? Nah, I mean, that's the thing. I'm really tempted. Yeah, I'm tempted as well. It's really close. Now I'm tempted to bluff with it. He's gonna have king jack here a lot, but he can have king queen as well. And people block bet king queen here. That's the problem. They block bet king 10 as well. Yeah, deuce jack makes sense as well, I suppose. The thing is, I didn't have a sample, and I can't be too unhappy with calling. We can have 2 jack. He can deuce jack. He can have all sorts of other crap. So yeah, it's annoying. I didn't have a sample on him. If we know he's a nit over a lot of hands, you can see that he actually had jack deuce, guys. Just because someone is a net over 30 hands does not mean you can completely change your strategy, nor it means you should change your strategy, okay? If I knew over 500 hands that he indeed is like, what was that, 12-5 or something like that, yeah, then I can fold a turn. But I just don't see how we can fold the ace-king when he can easily go ahead and bet random tens with a 10 of diamonds, when he can go ahead and bet with king-queen. So we're going to call and fold the river, and the river is the same thing. Like, I was really tempted to actually bluff this. But yeah, there you go. And fucking Louis, yeah, you can't really tell, guys. You cannot make sure you remember this. Do not make big assumptions based on small sizes, especially not at NL5. Okay, people do crazy stuff. So many nits get bored, and this like blows my mind. How many guys that are like 19-10 get absolutely mental post flop? They randomly spaz with nothing. Absolutely insane. So you can't really make big folds based on small sample sizes. And I knew that he's got two pair, right? He's got probably two pair. He probably doesn't have a flush, so yeah, river was close. I'm pretty sure he's folding against a big bet. If I bet $1.09 here, I'm pretty sure he's folding to that, right? So it was really tempting, but again, we don't have to do that. It's a high variance play. We just don't have to bother with that at micro stakes, yeah. So guys, remember, okay, if you are just starting out, if you are playing Equilab, absolute necessity. Later on, when you have money, you will actually use solvers, you will use PokerSnowie and stuff like that. But 100%, well, not 100%, 98% of strong players use what we call a matrix, all right? They basically use a matrix to visualize ranges. I can actually show you some snowy ones, I think. It looks like this. This is from PokerSnowie. I took a screenshot of it. And this is how pretty much everyone visualizes ranges, right? You can actually save them on your desktop. If you want to have pre-flop charts, you can save them on your desktop and play from there. And I'm going to call the jacks, the sixes. We do have the flush, so let's call it. Hopefully bet some crap and then just check it down. Now it's an easy fold. Yeah, so if you want to think about ranges, guys, this is definitely the way to go. Equilab is the by far the easiest option. Even if you are using those advanced software types, you definitely want to use Equilab, all right? It should be your bread and butter. Actually pay for the Equilab Pro version. It's like $5. But yeah, Equilab. For PLO, you don't have that. I think there's something called Pro Poker Tools. I'm not sure what it is. Kataguga, you say you play PLO, right? There's something called the Pro Poker Tools that you can use for that. That's similar to Equilab, but that's gonna help you out. I think it's actually web-based. Right, there we go, guys. You know the drill. We bet 1/3 pot. We bet 25% or 1/3. Try to induce some stuff, and we still get the stacks in here with the ace-king. That's a power Equilab. You don't have to pay for power Equilab, guys. You can put in random flops, you can save color ranges, use your distributions and stuff like that. But when you're starting out, Equilab, absolutely free from Poker Strategy. Just visit the site and download it. There are guides on how to use Equilab as well. Just Google Poker Strategy Equilab guide. That should definitely be your starting point when you start to think about ranges, okay? Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Ooh, we have a straight flush draw. I'm just gonna call though. He looks really strong. And this is really suspicious. Actually, I have some statistics on this guy. He opens way too much on the button. He c-bets 47%. I'm still gonna just call. Ooh, interesting. Now this guy is a regular, and I'm never bluffing here. I'm just never bluffing. But the size is interesting in this situation. We can't really go too big. Even this is an NL5 reg. We can't really go too big against an NL5 reg. So I'm gonna go half pot, right? Hopefully he calls us with an ace. Actually, the problem is he can actually call us with an ace. I think people are gonna station an ace too much against us. So yeah, you know what? Screw it. Let's go big. Hope he folds the ace. If it wasn't paired on the river, I'm gonna go a little bit smaller there. Unfortunately, this is what happens. Malvin to 30%, yeah, it will be fine. I think both are fine. Both of those sizes are absolutely okay. Double pot there. I want to go double pot. I don't think an ace calls against us. If you go 2x pot, I don't think an ace will call. I think you just fold out an ace when you do that, and it's really hard to represent bluffs. So yeah, we gotta do that. I went reasonably big. I'm just hoping that he checks back an ace and stations with it, basically. Queens, let's go ahead and bet jam. Nothing's changed in this situation. He's gonna call us with jacks, ace 10 probably as well. Oh man, this sucks. Oh man, this sucks. You know what? Let's do it. I'm gonna do it. This is NL5. I think we can get away with this. I think people are just simply not gonna jam against us with bluffs. And we're basically trying to make, I would not do this at higher stakes. This is actually what Poker Snowy recommends, guys. I ran these spots and Poker Snowy does this. It's kind of suicidal in practice though, because the thing is, I think NL5 is the only limit when I do it. Because it's kind of suicidal if you don't know the guy, because he can actually go ahead and he can jam with bluffs against you. I just think this guy did seem passive. I don't think at NL5 people raise enough. I think they just station, even though it's obviously a value bet from us, they will just station us with a 10, some of the time at least. So yeah, I think we can get away with this. Bet the 25% on the river, even leaving 192. Just a really face-up value bet. I just don't see people calling much. If you are at higher limits, they are gonna jam or fold against this if they have a 10, for example. But I just feel like we can get away with it. And again, same thing with the ace 10. Absolutely same thing. I'm just gonna go with these face-up value bets. People are just paying you off too much. Yeah, so we can bet small and fold, and it's exactly the same with the ace 10. When it's a face-up value bet, people just see it as a small bet and they call you. I find that even at NL10 Zoom, it doesn't happen anymore. The regulars don't do this. NL5 is probably the last limit where the regs see, oh, it's a small size, I'm just gonna call, even though you're obviously value betting, right? And I'm making it goddamn clear here that I'm never bluffing in this situation. But people call you with a 10x. People call you with jacks anyway. Sometimes with even 9s here because they're like, oh, it's a small bet. It's just $1. I want to see what he has. I call. Basically what they do. Katsakuga. Yeah, it's an induce. Absolutely. Oh, they do it on the flop. Most of the inducing that happens is on the flop, okay? I'm talking about flop specifically. On a river like this, on the flop when they can have air, I don't think he can have much air in the first place. I don't think he can have much air in the first place. And you know what? This situation, I actually was talking to my coach today, and I used to go small. I used to bet small on a board like this one. But he told me, nah, come on, you just go big. Just go big here. And god damn it, man. This is dumb. I obviously am calling, right? I'm not folding, but it's gotta be flush a lot of the time here. I'm basically calling to go ahead and fill up when he does this. And against the jam, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on, guys? We bet the flop, he check raises us. And now he checks. Oh man, this is weird. This is goddamn weird. You know what? I'm gonna go with it. Now is the time to induce. I basically want to induce bullshit. I don't want to jam. If he has random crap, I actually want to induce him. If he's got the flush, he checked twice. Yeah, we got owned, but what? Holy shit! What the hell? We 7-8, and I absolutely love my play. Seeing this hand, I absolutely love my line. That I played. We got really unlucky here, but I absolutely love my turn line against a guy like this one. We just got extremely unlucky, which is going to happen in NL5, all right? It's simply going to happen, and you simply have to live with that. But, right, so on the flop, first of all, 7-8 offsuit. Nothing you can do here. First of all, guys, I used to bet small here. Used to bet small here just to induce, just to make them do crap. But as you can see, sometimes you induce anyway. But I mean, this is extreme. I don't expect to induce people that much when we do this, right? But the thing is, if he has something that's calling on the flop, if he's got something like ace-king with the ace of hearts, if he's got king-queen with the king of hearts in this situation, you simply, he's not folding, right? So might as well go big. The issue with going big is exactly this. If you bet big and he raises you anyway, he just looks extremely strong, right? It just looks like a goddamn flush. You are inducing a lot less often than if you bet big. But obviously, we can't fold here. And I'm really happy with my turn play. This is why I did this. This is why I did made the turn play, right? If he has a nut flush here, if he has a nut flush, I'm fucked, right? I'm losing anyway. I'm fucked. If I bet, I kind of have to bet. I want to protect my hand against a random one heart. So if he's got a nut flush, which is the only flush that probably does this, I don't see any other flush checking the turn. Check raising, then checking the turn. No, it's either ace king of hearts, ace queen, ace jack of hearts, or he's got fuck all, right? Or he's got one heart. So I kind of feel like I have to protect my hand with the force right here, right? So I kind of feel like I want to protect my hand. The thing is, I kind of want him to keep playing with his bullshit. He's already shown me in this hand, I have no reads on him, but he's already shown me that he's a spazzy guy, he's a tricky guy who can do random crap, right? He showed that to me on the flop. I don't expect anyone to check raise like this at micro stakes if he's a normal regular, right? So already, just by his flop actions, he's more likely to be an aggressive guy, all right? So basically, I know I'm fucked against the nut flush. Nothing I can do about it. I just pray I hit because I have to protect my hand. The reason why I bet small is to induce from random crap that gave up on the flop, is to make his range wider, basically. So if I jam, he can only call me with the flushes, really, right? Maybe ace x of hearts, but he would probably bluff it. If he check raises it on the flop, he probably bluffs it on the turn, right? So I'm trying to make his range as goddamn wide as possible. That's why I go small. If it's a blank, I can still jam on the river, obviously, get the stack in against any random median that he had. And I get him to spew again with his garbage hands. And this makes me really happy. This validates my play. Because if he can have 7-8 offsuit, that means he's going to have absolute garbage in this situation. He's going to have goddamn king jack off as well. And you're going to win loads of money against his range by doing this small bet size, as opposed to just jamming it on the turn and making him fold all his bullshit, right? So Katagoga, it's induced. Earlier, some people see you induced, they go crazy. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. They go crazy. So in this situation, I kind of need him to actually go crazy against us. I kind of need him to do that for me to have a profitable call, right? And to increase my EV. So basically, we go for that. And we still have 10 outs. Yeah, obviously, we still have a bunch of outs in this situation. So I'm really, really happy seeing this hand. It just validates that my turn line was correct. When someone does this, he's more likely to be spazzy on the flop. And we're making loads of money in this situation. Like, we're printing money, basically. If he can have 7-8 and beat us like this, I mean, come on. He put in money with almost no equity on the flop. And he just got lucky. But we're going to win this spot so much. And, yeah, again, you can't be really unhappy. Especially if you're four tabling, guys. It's so beautiful. When you manage to win in a Zoom pool, when you put in the hard work, when you really study, and you manage to put in a high win rate in a Zoom pool, and you manage to do it for tabling, hands like these, they don't really bother you. I don't really care about this one. By the way, this guy's a nit. I'm going to open up because he's 16-11 on the button. We can definitely go for that. That's the beauty of it. Let me tell you, I play regular tables at mid stakes, right? I play 200 NL, 400 NL, and I play like 12,000 hands per month, or 16,000 hands per month, 20,000 hands per month. It's a lot of hands for me, basically. If I would play 10K hands per month, it's a lot of hands. The beauty of playing 4 tables Zoom, you can play 8,000 hands per day, right? In a day, you can play 8,000 hands. So whenever something like this happens, it just reminds you that the only thing you have to do is keep doing what you're doing and put in the hours. That's it. And you will win. You will win within days. You will win either today or tomorrow. If not tomorrow, you will win this week. If you have a high win rate like this, if you play with low variance style, if you are playing 4-table Zoom, it's just a question of days when you will start winning. It's absolutely inevitable. You can check the graph again that we have here. And yeah, it's basically this. It's just a question of not getting pissed too much and focus on putting in the volume, right? Or you can get pissed, curse at the screen, like this asshole always hits. But then try to inject logic. Okay, I'm angry, but I'm angry right now, but that only means I'm gonna make a ton of money in the future in exactly the same situation. And this is exactly how you have to think at MicroStakes, guys. Especially when you get stuck by some absolute bullshit, right? Some absolute bullshit like this stacks you. All you have to think about, especially if you're playing Zoom, is think about, oh my God, this means that I'm gonna win a lot of money. As long as I put in the hours, sooner or later, I'm gonna crush. Especially when people do crazy stuff like this. There we go. So juices, let's go ahead and open that. Again, you would fold this at higher stakes, but juices is such a, pocket pairs are so good at NL5. People pay you off when they hit pairs. And they just don't bluff enough when they don't hit them, that pocket pairs are just the nuts. Yeah, exactly. General in poker, and the higher you move up, guys, it's not gonna be as easy as this, right? MicroStakes are goddamn easy in that you can put in a lot of volume. You never struggle finding opponents and weak opponents to play against. You can put in volume anytime you want, 24/7. It's definitely not the case at higher stakes. Even NL 200 regular tables these days, it's actually not easy to get 8 tables running and have them running all the time that are reasonably good. Like oftentimes I'll be 1 to 3 tabling, 1 to 2 tabling for long hours. But at MicroStakes, that's not the case. You will find volume. It's easy to find volume. So your goals is just goddamn go ahead and play more hands, right? And sooner or later you're gonna win. And it's exactly what the NL5 Zoom strategy is, all right? Especially if you play NL5 Zoom, 4 tables in NL5 Zoom, you can play 20,000 hands in 2 days, 3 days. The long run comes really, really quickly for you. Right, you can see me, again, close spot, and this is how I started doing this, okay? I actually, I started doing this by accident and actually started working. When it's close, you just fold. You basically don't care. When it's really close, you let it go. Queen Jack offsuit, I don't care. I fold. King 5, again, strong enough. We're going to open that on the button. Because it's a strong hand, we have the steals. But under the gun, I'm not going to bother with that. Do you have an example of your open ranges? I guess I can open something. Right, so we can do it this way. Right, so let's say under the gun. Let's say I'm under the gun, yeah. And what my opening range is going to be. I'm going to open all pocket pairs. I'm going to open all pocket pairs, definitely. Opening juices as well. Opening all these. Pocket pairs just are really, really good. This is under the gun. So pocket pairs are really awesome when you are playing first in. NL5, again, the reasons, I'm not going to repeat myself. I think it's pretty obvious. King, queen, we can call. Oh, look at that. Ooh, aces. Oh my God, this guy is really aggressive. This guy is really, really aggressive. I'm going to go ahead and min quote 4-bet. He's 80-57. So we're going to go ahead and min code 4-bet this, guys. we really want him to continue with something, right? We really don't mind him continuing. Yeah, basically that's what we've done. King Queen, I'm going to jam, actually. I'm going to jam the King Queen. He's short against short stacks. I just fast play this. He pot size bet. If he has us, he has us. Not much we can do here. He's got ace queen. We're getting stacked anyway, so who cares? We're going to get it in. He's got less than half stack. Oh, man, look at that. This is beautiful. Aces against kings. And the king gets there. while this happens. Today, it happens so much today, by the way. Let me show you my graph today, guys. Yeah, this is my graph today, basically. I'm, how many? Yeah, I'm like 8 buy-ins below EV in one day. That happens. It's basically normal at micro stakes. Sometimes it happens, guys. There's nothing you can do about this, okay? The main thing about beating micro stakes is discipline and putting in the hours, all right? And when this happens, there's nothing you can do about that. And the thing about kings, especially the kings, basically no money changes hands. This has no impact on win rate whatsoever, because next time in this situation, you are the ones who's gonna have the kings and you're gonna win. So you are not really losing or gaining any win rate in this scenario, right? I mean, no money changes hands. So the only thing you want to think about when this happens is like, yeah, okay. I mean, if I have kings, I do the same in this situation. I'm going to go ahead and jam as well. I'm going to win exactly the same amount of money. No money basically change hands. So this like shouldn't get you emotional whatsoever. As long as you have sufficient bankroll, not much you can do there. Right, so under the gun range, guys, I'm going to go ahead and open all the pocket pairs. I'm actually folding ace-10. I'm folding king-jack, queen-jack offsuit. King-queen I'm going to open. So I'm cutting all these hands pretty much. And I'm cutting queen-9. I'm cutting king-9 as well. And suited connectors, yeah, even 10-9, I'll probably fold under the gun. 10-9 you can open some of the time, I guess. But yeah, this is how tight I play. Like early positions, I fold the hands that are close to 0 EV. Earlier you said you need 8 buy-ins. If they only have 8 buy-ins, they go broke, right? I didn't lose 8 buy-ins actually. What was the graph? 8 buy-ins if you have 10 big blinds per 100 win rate, right? 8, that's what you need. But I was playing NL10 today. Yeah, so I lost 8 buy-ins today, but I was playing NL10 with much higher variance. I was actually trying out my Game Theory optimal ranges today. So yeah, if I was playing NL5, I did not have an 8 buy-in downswing in that sample, I'm pretty sure. But the NL10 is different. NL10, the variance is a lot higher. You have to get the stacks in lighter. And yeah, so NL10, I need 20 stacks for NL10. I'm basically playing with 20 binds there. And I'm starting to play NL5 at 10 binds, and I move down if I lose some of that pretty much. Most won't know what 0 EV means though, and open anything pretty and lose to the rake with not enough skill. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And this is the thing, you lower variance and you lower the rake. So at Zoom tables, you can simply fold these hands. I mean, even Queen 10, I guess Queen 10 under the gun, you can actually go ahead and fold that, and you still would be profitable. So I don't see any problem with folding that under the gun. That's basically what my strategy is. And otherwise, my ranges are pretty much standard. The so under the gun, middle position, this is where I adjust the most. And the other one is the big blind. Other one is the big blind, right? So in the big blind, I'm going to be really tight. I'm actually folding a lot of hands in the big blind. Like if someone opens on the button, I'm probably folding the offsuit aces even, especially against 3x. I'm really, really, really tight. These suited hands in the big blind against those 3x opens, I'm going to be letting go. So early position and big blind, I'm going to be a lot tighter than I would be at my regular stakes at NL5. And I'm going to free bet fold mostly in late positions at NL5 there. Yeah, so my strategy at NL5 when I was playing the challenge, basically I would have $50, and if I go below $50, I would switch to NL2 again, just win that money back, and then again go to $50 and try to run it up. And I basically took like 3 or 4 shots at NL5 at 10 buy-ins. I lose a couple buy-ins, I move back to NL2, grind it up, again, rinse and repeat. Basically, that's what my approach has been from $20. And I ran up $20 to around 270. Now it's going to be roughly, I don't know, 220, but we're running really bad under EV at NL10. Ace-10, boom, open it up. Again, it's just to in the small blind, I'm just going to play my normal strategy. And, it's same thing as before. I just want him to fold, basically. I don't want him to fold here. So I'm going to bet 2/3. Then I'm going to barrel clubs. And it's going to be really, really straightforward. Hopefully he's not watching the stream. If you're watching the stream, if you're watching this and you're seeing me play NL5, just raise me. You know what? You deserve to win. Because every time I bet big on the flop, it's basically a bluff. Raisey daisy. Right, guys. So any more questions that you have about NL5 and how to beat it, basically? Do you have any questions in regards to the limit? NL5 Zoom. I'm going to try to play NL10 Zoom next time in the next month. Hopefully I get enough sample. Well, not hopefully. I'm hoping that I'm not going to get sample because that would mean my normal site is actually up and running again. But I'm going to try to get a sample. So if you have any questions about NL5 Zoom, ask me now. But basically, people don't protect their ranges. You can bluff them when they're really, really weak in a lot of situations. You attack the blind. I just play normal. I just cut my EV. I attack the blinds against nets. It's kind of flat here. Bluff against obvious weakness, guys. Don't shy away from bluffing. Bluff against obvious weakness. Induce with strong hands on flop and turn. On flop especially. So, especially on the flop, you should be inducing with strong hands. Sea Salt McFish, what open raise size? This is a good question, actually, and this differs from my other stakes. So when I'm playing Zoom and I'm playing NL10, I'm gonna 2.5x it. I think people simply fold too much against it, and I'm opening a lot wider than I am right here. But at NL5, I 3x every position, and I 2.5x, which is 2.4x actually, because you can't do 2.5x. I 2.4x the button. And the reason is this: you basically take it down pre-flop, and a lot of EV at NL5 comes from winning big stacks. Lots of EV comes from winning big stacks from people, stacking against the random garbage. So I'm gonna 3x in all positions but the button to give myself the chance to do that. To give myself the chance to win a big stack when people decide to do something absolutely crazy. That's why NL5 Zoom, that's the only Zoom I'm going to be doing this. NL5 and NL2, I'm going to be opening to 3x every position but the button, where I still go big. 2.5x is reasonably big. Many people just min raise that. And the reason is basically that, like, sooner or later, if I'm going to play NL5 Zoom right now, sooner or later, someone's going to spew their stack off against me. And a lot of the EV comes from this. Again, attacking weak ranges, inducing people, that's important as well. But basically, sooner or later, someone is going to give their stack to you. And you want to make sure that you use raise sizes pre-flop that allow them to do it, right? When they 3-bet, they c-bet, or you 4-bet and you get the stacks in, you want to build the pots. And a lot of the EV comes from that. Yeah, and NL10, NL16, people fold a lot more, and they just don't blatantly spew their stacks off to you, right? So you want to go smaller at higher limits, basically. That's what I'm doing. But I'm figuring it out, guys. I only played 3,000 hands at NL10 Zoom. I'm going to tell you, I'm running at 16 big blinds per 100 in EV there, using 2.5x. So I'm gonna tell you how it went. If I actually build up a bigger sample. I might actually keep playing. You know what? Even if my side goes up, I'm actually going to go ahead and keep playing. And we're going to go ahead and jam this. Fat King Louis, free betting percentage. It was about 8%, something like that, because I free bet or fold the button, cutoff, and middle position. I wasn't really flatting very often at all. So free betting is roughly 10%. So Sea Salt McFish, hopefully that answers your question. Psychopala, do you want to coach me? You know what, guys? You know what? I don't coach. I don't really coach people because I study myself. I'm a student of the game. I have a coach. I'm running and I started working with optimal ranges. But you know what? I promise you now. If I get sick, if I have a cold, I will actually do some really cheap coaching for NL5, NL2, NL10. I will actually do that. But it's only when I'm sick. Only when if I have a cold, if I have a sick, I can't play. Studying is not much fun for me. So I'll do private coachings. I will start doing private coaching. So if I have the flu, guys, in the future, I'll probably say, you know what? I'll give you for $10 per hour or something. I will coach whatever the hell you want. And I will do that because that's the times I can't play myself. I lost so much fucking money. Seriously. Sorry for swearing. I lost so much goddamn money by playing when I was sick. When I had a cold, when I had the flu, I had the flu over the winter like 3 or 4 times. I lost goddamn probably $4,000 or something like that, or $3,000 playing while I was goddamn sick. It's just so terrible. So you know what? I might start doing private coachings if I actually get ill and I can't play myself. To stop myself from playing, I might charge you $5 or $10. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully I will not get sick for a very, very long time. You probably have to wait until next winter, but if that happens, yeah, you can look for some cheap value coaching with a sniffling coach. I'm gonna probably have a goddamn fever, but I'm gonna do some coaching then. Kings, I want to induce here. I lose because I play. I still have my wisdom, I still have my knowledge, right? And see, this is the thing with the Kings. When we bet like this, when we bet small like this, yeah, he's got aces, he fucking stacks us. But people do this so much. People just do this so often. Oh my god, he's got the queen again. Today is like the worst day in EV I ever run. Like I can't remember having a day like this. Holy shit. Yeah, thanks guys. We go ahead and lose every single all-in while playing. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm actually 11 buy-ins under EV in one day in 3,000 hands. Yeah, I think this is the worst I've ever run. 4 kings and aces pre-flop. Yeah, 11 buy-ins under EV within 3,000 hands. Wow, I honestly don't remember. I don't think this happened ever. Like I played for 9 years, but 10 buy-ins in 3,000 hands in 6 hours. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, that's a first for me, guys. That's a first. It's a learning point for me. But thank God it came on micro stakes. I'm just trying to imagine. If my site opens. I'm playing NL200, and I would be 11 buy-ins under EV in one day. Holy fucking shit! I would be tilted so high. I mean, I'm really good at dealing with it. I'm really good at dealing with that, but man, that would be a hard day to recover from. 11 buy-ins under EV in 6 hours. Thank God my site isn't online. I'm just playing these stakes because you know what? I don't really care about the money here. But if this was, this would basically be what? It would be $2,200. It would be over $2,000. I would be under EV in one day. Wow. Thank God we were playing micro stakes, ladies and gentlemen. Cecil Max3 says, I can see all my bad times in my graph. Too much beer or being sick or depressed. Always peaks and lows in the graph. Yeah, absolutely. You just have to take a break. I mean, I'm a professional, right? It's the thing. I'm a pro. And if you have a cold too much, you just have to make money, right? So you kind of feel forced to play through it. But no, I think it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea to play through colds. You just have to take a break or move down. Move down a couple stakes, right? Right, let's go back over the kings. Obviously, we lost, so I talked about the variants. But yeah, as you can see here, right? So we lose the kings against queens on the river. But one thing that I want you to notice is that we 4-bet pre-flop, and there's no reason to do anything else but this. There's no reason to actually do this. there's no reason to go bigger than 25%. And that's what I found. Most of the time, right, if you play higher stakes, you are worried about an ace or a heart rolling off and you losing action, right? You are worried about those, like if he's got tens, a jack comes off, queen comes off, ace comes off, and you're worried about this. I've seen this so much at NL5. I've seen this so much at NL5 that you're absolutely safe doing this. You basically bet 25%, and people just jam it with queens. People are just jamming it with queens. You don't really lose any value. And as you saw, guys, you can induce them to do something crazy with random bullshit as well, right? They will jam their flush draws. They can jam random pairs here. I've seen even eights go ahead and go all in this situation. So you have absolutely no reason to go bigger in this situation. So 25%. And that's the thing. You still protect it. You don't want to see. There's a lot of turns that either kill your action that you don't want to see. You don't want to see an ace turn. You don't want to see a heart turn, really, even though you have the king of hearts. It kills your action against a lot of his hands, right? Connecting turns like tens and jacks, you aren't really in love with in this situation. So yeah, you do want to protect your hand, but at the same time you want to induce. And as you see, if they have queens, they just basically jam it in, and you don't lose any value against these, and you gain value against random crap. So there we go, and he rivers the queens. This concludes the worst all-in EV day for me ever. But you know what? This is the beauty of NL5. I'm gonna sit down at NL5. I'm gonna play 8,000 hands, and I'm gonna win tomorrow. If I don't win it back tomorrow, I'm gonna win it back the day after. Maybe my normal side will come back in the meantime. But you just know you're gonna win. So this happens, you know what? It doesn't matter. As long as you are beating Zoom at 4 tables, you are gonna win the money back, and you are gonna win the money back within days. Where it's harder, if you play regular tables, if you are table selecting, and this happens, and you hit a bad stretch like this, it might take a month to actually recover from a few bad days. So yeah, there you go, guys. And I'm really happy how you played. So this is really important, guys, at micro stakes. You cannot get tilted by this. You just cannot get disheartened by stuff like this. Only thing that matters at micro stakes is the hours you put in and the discipline you keep. Curse at the screen, be angry, whatever, I don't care. If you have an 11 buy in under EV day, doesn't goddamn matter. All you have to do is put in the volume and you will win eventually. And if you play Zoom, we're talking days from now, okay? So that's what I'm going to leave you with. NL5, the key to beating it is, yeah, all the strategy stuff I told you, all the little tips and tricks. But the main key to beating NL5 is persistence and discipline. As long as you have that, you're gonna do great at NL5, at any micro stakes, as long as you put a little bit of work in. Hopefully this helped, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the whole sessions. God damn it, Psychopella. God damn it, man. I don't want to get the goddamn flu. Malvin 2, the only game where winners lose and still win. Try explaining to my missus later. Yeah, you know what? Before we sign off, let me talk about traditional women and poker. I was actually thinking about it. Recently, and obviously this is a sexist example that I'm gonna bring in, but specifically the women in my life. And see, in poker and in life, I find that the main value that I want to live by is I do my best with the present situation, right? Like if I'm in a downswing, if I'm ill, and I don't eat junk food, I eat a little bit healthier than last time, I spew a little bit less, I am successful. No matter what the result is, you are actually successful, right? Because you got dealt bad cards, you got stuck on the river, but I didn't tilt. I'm ready to put in the work. I really felt not much emotion whatsoever. It's curiosity about like the today's run. But as long as you do this, as long as you do your best, given the situation you are in, you've basically succeeded. For a lot of people, that's not really the case. A lot of people, especially like traditional people, not women, but traditional people in general, they will judge you based on your results, right? What kind of a job you have, how much money are you making, how well you're doing, and you just have to accept that, right? And you are living your values. You are who decides when you are successful, when you're not. And in my book, if I get stacked with kings against queens and I stay calm and I put in the volume anyway and I play really solid the next day, that's when I'm successful, right? Obviously, your missus will probably not understand this. She will just say you lost money and the results is what happens. But you know what? This is how vast majority of people are. They look at your results. They don't really look at the effort per se. But I decided I'm going to judge myself by the actual effort that I put in, how I do with my situation. And on the other hand, if you're doing really well, guys, if you're doing really well, if you're running well, if you're crushing, and then you take in losses. You basically protect your wins. You're like, oh, I won 4 buy-ins today. I'm not gonna keep playing. You are a failure. You actually did not succeed. You are not successful. Even though you won money that day, if you stop in the middle of grind just because you're afraid you're gonna lose that, you basically failed. Because that's the thing. When you're losing, your confidence is at the highest. You should try to play as much as possible. Try to play as much as possible. When you're losing and you're getting crushed, yeah, put in the volume, put in the study, try to maintain it. But the volume is not that important when you're losing. So that's how I try to live. And basically what it means, if you focus on this, on how well you're doing given any situation, you will work hard regardless of what the results are. And especially when the times are good, you will just keep pushing. You'll keep pushing. Instead of 5 buy-ins winning, you will keep playing those 10-hour days. You will win 10 buy-ins, 12 buy-ins. And this is how you win long run. This is not what I used to do, but this is how I live my life, basically. So then I'm going to leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen, with this long run. Hopefully, it was awesome that you were here. Fat King Louis says, stay healthy. Thank you very much, Mr. Fat King Louis. You guys make this amazing, always. Sea Salt McFish, Scottie Pippen, Batista Janssen. Very good points you brought up, by the way, about the specific bluffs and what you can get away with at micro stakes. Malvin too, Fat King Louis, everyone who was here. Thank you so much for taking your time. Kataguga, hopefully, I didn't answer your questions. NL5 is similar to NL2. You should definitely take shots at it. And try this. Take 2 buy-ins, right? You have 20 buy-ins for NL5. Take 2 buy-ins and play for 1 day, right? Play for 1 hour. The next day, play for 2 hours. If you lose the 2 buy-ins, move to NL2. I assume you beat it. Win the buy-ins again. And basically make those 20 buy-ins your base. And every time you get there or you have 21 buy-ins, take the 1 shot. Take the 1 buy-in, take a shot at NL5, and then move down. And basically, this is how you gradually go ahead and move up the stick. Sooner or later, you're going to hit a good run as long as you study, as long as you beat the lower limit, and you are going to move up. You are going to move up, and you're going to stay at the limit. That's how I'm doing it currently. And that's how you can definitely do it. Some people like to build 50 stacks and take a 10 buy-in shot. I just don't think you have to do that. Just try it out for 1 day. Next day, try a little bit more hours, and that should basically work out for you. So guys, thank you very much. This has been the micro monthly grind. I will see you next month with the monthly special. No idea what it's going to be, but next month we're probably going to be playing NL10. We're going to do some tips and tricks. So let's see if I can get some sample. So thank you very much for being here. As always, you made it awesome for me and for everyone else in the chat. Always great to be really, really active. And I will see you next month in the monthly special and the monthly live grind at the micro stakes. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for being awesome. And good luck at the tables, whether you play NL5 or whether you are a high stakes crusher who just comes here for fun. Lemon out. Have a great time at the tables, guys.